Hi, so I wanted to share something with you today, which is that almost all ex-consultants that you speak to think they could have done a better job of how they left consulting. Now there's various reasons for that, but they include things like making a snap decision after a horrible project and taking the first interview from the first recruiter that you speak to, landing the job and not once stopping to question if this was the path that was meant for you. You might be familiar with the idea of jobs that my mum and dad get. The same thing actually exists in consulting, you've probably noticed. So leaving consulting really well also tends to include dealing with feelings of serious hurt and upset, because very often the decision to leave consulting is after some pretty nasty post-midnight finishes, not enough sleep, not enough exercise, not enough time with people that we love, not enough time to meet someone to love. And in those moments, the extreme lows have overtaken the extreme highs, and it's going to be very hard not to feel resentful. I think it's difficult in any very competitive field, whether that's consulting or medicine or elite sport, where you've done brilliantly to get in the first place, been surrounded by super smart, truly excellent peers, and also probably by people who are senior to you, who've probably reminded you how well you've done to be there and how lucky you are to be surrounded by such great colleagues. And maybe when things were a little bit tough, you leant on this idea a bit more. And then maybe at the point when you decided that perhaps this wasn't forever and that you maybe wanted to leave, maybe you also started to wonder if you weren't so smart or so capable after all. Because in up or out cultures, we tend to assume that out equals down. But you know, that's really not necessarily true. Because if you're in one of these highly competitive fields and you've passed all of the really rigorous selection criteria, and then you've worked in this this real hothouse environment, then you are super smart and capable, and you've got the training to boot. So slow down, take your time. If you possibly can, run to rather than from. When I spoke to Richard Rosser from Move Me On, he reckoned that most consultants underestimate how in demand that they are, and that I would add that they probably overestimate how fast and efficient hiring processes can be. So start early, long before you really need to leave, if you possibly can, and get choosy. Get really well acquainted with your likes, your dislikes, your preferences. Every negative bit of feedback and project that didn't go so well is a clue. It is possible to leave consulting really well. But hey, you know the guy who took the first interview from the first recruiter that he spoke to? He's doing really, really well. And it's not necessarily the way that you'd recommend, but it did work out. But if you fancy going about it a little bit more consciously and a little bit more deliberately, let's have a chat and work out what a great career path looks like for you.